celebrate Thanksgiving, and except for Daddy not being here, we were all together, and that's the first time we've been together like that in 20 years. So it's been really nice.
Всегда хорошо возвращаться в церковь, где чувствуешь себя как дома.
It's always very nice to return to a church where you feel at home.
И всегда ваша поддержка, она чувствуется даже издалека.
And your support is felt even across the ocean.
И может быть в нашем служении ничего нового такого не произошло, но мы рады вновь и вновь приезжать сюда и говорить спасибо за ту поддержку.
It may seem like our ministry is not changing, but we always enjoy coming back and telling you about the people that we meet and about the people that you support.
Вы, наверное, больше всего знаете уже об Украине.
Of course, I think most of you know more about Ukraine and our ministry and us than we do.
Поэтому сегодня мы хотим рассказать, что произошло за год.
But we would still like to tell you about what has happened in the past year.
И начнем мы с того, что наша миссия в Украине не изменилась.
And we would like to start by telling you about the ministry and the mission in Ukraine has not changed.
Но за последний год наша семья обновилась.
But in the past year, our family has changed.
Наконец-то мы можем показать новую фотографию.
And we can show you a new picture of our family of 4.
Нас уже 4.
So there's 4 of us. Emily is 5 years old, and Evelina is almost a year old. She'll be a year Saturday.
Ну, название у нас Hearts for Ukraine, и мы туда 4 поместили.
The name of our ministry is Hearts for Ukraine. So that's 4 of us. We're there. We're quitting.
Не знаю, может быть, назовем как-то по-другому нашу миссию, когда нас будет 5 или 6.
Sasha said we might have to change the name if something unexpected happens.
Но, тем не менее, мы прилетели около недели назад.
So we arrived here in the United States about a month ago, about a week ago.
Что, забыл английский?
Yes, I have forgotten my English.
И в этот раз Рэй остался.
And this time, Daddy stayed in Ukraine, and
Я привез с собой тещу.
Sasha brought his mother-in-law with him.
Привез всю семью.
And Renee and Daryl are here also with Joseph.
Привез с собой, мне пришлось таскать все чемоданы.
Sasha, poor thing, he had to carry all of our luggage.
И я понял, что мой тесть, он взрослеет.
And he understands that his father-in-law is getting older.
Поэтому он взял чуть-чуть позже билеты.
That's why he decided to stay and let Sasha bring all the luggage, the heavy luggage, and deal with the women.
Но давайте дальше перейдем к служению. Хочется сказать, что это
Next, please.
был самым насыщенным вообще.
This year, our ministry has been the busiest it has been in the past.
И мы продолжаем работать с детьми, с молодежью.
We continue to work with children and with young adults.
Продолжаем работать с молодыми людьми и женщинами.
And with women.
И интересно, что если предыдущие годы мы искали себе служение,
In the past couple of years, we have had to look for opportunities to minister and to do camps.
но в этом году произошел какой-то сдвиг такой немножко в нашем служении.
But this year, we haven't had that problem.
У нас произошел shift в нашем служении.
Our ministry has shifted just a little bit,
Потому что уже ищут нас, а не мы ищем где-то.
and people are contacting us, not we are contacting people, they are wanting us to come and visit them.
И поэтому наше расписание уже сложилось очень плотно.
And our schedule has become very busy.
Дальше. В этом году нам пришлось сделать 11 спортивных только проектов.
This summer, or this past year, we have been able to do 11 sports projects.
И фактически нас не было дома все лето.
And Sasha was not at home most of the summer. He packed up and left and came home 2 months later
На одну неделю, а потом опять уехал.
for a week, and then he left again.
Поэтому спортивное служение тоже очень распространилось в Украине.
Sports ministry has spread throughout Ukraine.
Интересно, что мы, когда начинали в 2007 году,
In 2007, when we started sports ministry,
то спортивное служение было очень новым.
it was very new in Ukraine.
Сегодня оно распространяется все больше и больше.
And today it is spreading in the churches, and people are, more and more people are getting involved.
Для этого есть несколько причин.
And there are a couple of reasons for that.
Первое – это нужда.
First reason is the need.
Вторая причина – церковь начала видеть эту нужду и восполнять ее в обществе.
The second reason is the church is beginning to finally see the need and wanting to fulfill that need.
Если 5 лет назад мне надо было идти в церковь и говорить «это вам нужно»,
5 years ago, I had to go to church, go to any church and say, you need this.
и 5 лет назад я собирал каких-то людей для того, чтобы их обучить,
And 5 years ago, I gathered a group of people together to train them.
то сегодня церкви приглашают сами «приди и научи».
And today, churches are calling me and asking me to come and to teach and to show them how.
Поэтому мы видим открытость по отношению к спортивному служению.
So finally, we're seeing an openness to sports ministry,
И как это спортивное служение набирает оборотов.
and we see how sports ministry is gaining momentum.
И мы видим потенциал в этом и будем продолжать это делать.
And we see the potential, and we are going to continue working in this area.
Вот. Когда-то моя бабушка уже отошла в вечность,
His grandmother is already in heaven,
но когда мы были еще маленькими, она нам все время рассказывала какие-то истории.
but when he was little, his grandmother always told him some stories.
В 1991 году, когда Украина приобрела независимость от Советского Союза,
In 1991, when Ukraine gained its independence from the Soviet Union,
Украина открыла двери
Ukraine opened its
и
doors.
открыла двери для христианской литературы.
It opened its doors for Christian literature also.
То есть до этого Библии не было. Моя бабушка переписывала Библию руками.
Before then, people did not have access to Bibles. His grandmother would copy by hand verses into a notebook.
Вот я помню, где-то в 90-х годах, начало 90-х, она рассказывала нам истории.
At the beginning of the 1990s, his grandmother would tell him stories.
Она открывала новые книжки, которые попали в Украину про миссионеров.
She would open books that finally were able to come to Ukraine about missionaries.
И она все время мне говорила, что мой старший брат будет бизнесменом, а я буду миссионером.
And she always told me that my older brother would be a businessman and I would be a missionary.
Ну, мы смеялись с нее тогда,
We, of course, laughed back then at her.
называли ее таким пророком,
We called her a prophet,
но над этим смеялись.
but we still laughed.
Почему? Потому что я любил футбол и не видел себя как миссионер.
And I did not see myself as a missionary. I loved soccer.
Я не мог себе представить, как человек, который любит футбол, может быть миссионером.
And I could not understand how someone that loves soccer so much could be a missionary.
Но у Бога свое чувство юмора.
But God has his own sense of humor.
И я стал как бы футболистом и миссионером в одно время.
And I have become a soccer player and a missionary all in one.
Теперь через спортивное служение мы говорим детям и их семьям о том, что Бог приготовил для них.
And through sports ministry, we can tell children and their families what God has prepared for them. Next slide, please.
В этом году мы продолжаем распространять служение, которое направлено на создание малых групп.
This past year, we have continued working with youth in small group settings.
И такие аутдор проекты, они направлены на то, чтобы в церковь организовывать малые группы.
Some of our projects have been outdoor projects where we have been able to spend some time with youth and send them back to church.
И 3 года назад мы начинали эти проекты,
3 years ago, we started this project.
и продолжаем это делать каждый год теперь.
Что?
Проекты.
Какой?
Ну, например, рафтинг.
We started this rafting project 3 years ago and continue to work with the youth through a week-long rafting trip.
И другие проекты типа лагерей каких-то дневных.
We also have other day conferences or day camps that we work with youth,
Куда приглашается очень много неверующих людей.
where we invite a lot of non-believers, non-Christians to these conferences, to these camps.
И вот в такие мероприятия приглашается где-то половину верующих, половину неверующих.
We always try to invite at least half non-Christians.
И они становятся хорошим таким основанием для того, чтобы потом людей приглашать в малые группы, и у нас уже есть хорошие истории.
And that becomes the foundation that we can use, the relationships that we create during these conferences and camps and trips. That becomes the foundation, and we can invite them then to small groups in homes or at church.
В этих проектах мы тоже видим потенциал и тоже будем продолжать их делать.
We continue to see the potential in these projects, and we'll continue doing them. Next slide, please.
Образование в этом году тоже заняло очень много времени.
Christian education this year has also taken up a lot more time.
И в этом году прошло через образование.
And a lot of young people, a lot of Christians have gone through this education.
Наверное, через образование такое, через мои лекции или какие-то семинары прошло в 4 раза больше людей, чем в предыдущие годы.
4 times more people have gone through the lectures and seminars this year, through Sasha's lectures and seminars this year than they have in the past.
Ну, мне кажется, что это связано с тем, что я больше вовлечен в семинарские проекты.
I believe it's because we are more involved in the seminary than we have been in the past.
В основном это происходит зимой.
A lot of the Christian education part, the seminars and the lectures go on during the winter time.
И в семинарии, но уже без моего участия, сейчас будет на следующей неделе проходить один большой семинар для молодежи.
And next week, there's going to be another large seminar for youth at the seminary. Of course, this time without Sasha.
Но я продолжаю участвовать в этом проекте, но уже удаленно, и благодаря интернету мы можем многие вещи делать даже удаленно.
But thanks to internet, we can still be involved in the seminar and continue to help out.
Поэтому я здесь тоже не отдыхаю.
So we're not vacationing here.
Продолжаем работать, даже если мы находимся далеко от того места, где мы находимся.
We continue the ministry that's going on in Ukraine through internet and through computers. Next slide, please. I also have been very busy this year, not only with a newborn, but I have been renewing my medical license, and it has taken a while. It has taken 9 months, and I finally finished a week before we came here. And hopefully, after we get back, I will be able to start work in a local women's clinic there in Odessa, a government-owned clinic. But also, one of our big ministry projects that some of the local missionaries have been involved in is the Pregnancy Crisis Center. We have a ministry called Choose Life, and in this ministry we have 3 different areas that we work with. One area is working with post-abortion women, women who have had abortions in their past. A lot of Christians, a lot of women that are in the church. So far, we have been working only with Christian women. And it's amazing, their stories. I still get goosebumps just remembering them. A lot of them have had 10, 15 abortions in their life before they became a Christian. And it's just amazing how they still suffer from depression or have family problems, all related to the abortions that they've had in the past. And we are able to do a Bible study. Sometimes it's an eight week long Bible study with them. Sometimes it's an intense week long Bible study with them, where they are able to forgive themselves. Basically, that comes down to the problem is they can't forgive themselves for what they've done. But we have been able to work with women. I believe we've had 8 groups of women go through our Bible study called Forgiven and Set Free. The second area is working with youth in schools, teaching abstinence. We're still working on that project. We have done like youth groups, teaching it in youth groups. We're not in the schools yet, but we're still working on that. And a third area is the Women's Center. It's a pregnancy crisis center. It has been up and running for over a year now, and we have over 50 clients that have come in. We advertise free pregnancy tests, and once they come in, we can counsel them. We give them a pregnancy test if they need to. We have prenatal classes for them that I teach. We've had 5 classes now, and not a lot of prenatal care is taught, or not a lot of material is taught to them, so they have really enjoyed the class. At the end of the class, we've had a baby shower for them. For a lot of them, it's very new concept, and receiving gifts before their baby is born is also very new, and they are very superstitious, and sometimes they will not accept our gifts, so we go to the hospital and visit them once their babies are born. We also have a new moms club, where after their baby is born, they can continue to come and be in a Christian environment and hear. They don't know it's Christian material, but hear good material about how to raise your children, how to raise them right. We also have humanitarian aid, maternity clothes, baby diapers. We also have started giving out food. When they come to classes to do Bible studies, they gain points, and they can buy this food or maternity clothes, diapers with these points. We do Bible studies with them, counseling, and it's amazing some of the stories that some of the women that have come in. We've actually had refugees come in from eastern Ukraine. They have fled their home cities and come to Odessa, and they're in need. They're pregnant. They are in need of clothes, baby clothes, baby diapers. We've also had women that come in abortion-minded and that leave. We have been able to show them that it is a life. What the baby that they're carrying inside is a life, and that they need to take care of that life. They understand that, and they leave wanting to have their child. Then we've also had women, unfortunately, come in and still want to have an abortion. But we can't make the decision for them. It is their decision, and they have to live with their decision. We have worked with women who have come in for a pregnancy test, had their pregnancy test, it was positive. They still had an abortion, but they still wanted to come back because they saw something at our clinic that they needed. And we're able to work with them and also go through the post-abortion Bible study with them. We've also had one lady come in, and she's a believer, she's a Christian, but she had her baby has birth defects. And the doctors in Ukraine are all trying to convince her that she doesn't need an invalid. She doesn't need to take care of this baby. The baby doesn't have a brain and doesn't have facial bones. And she's still about 5 months pregnant. And every day it's a battle. It's a battle with the doctors because in Ukraine, it's not, they don't know how to deal with birth defects and handicapped children. And so the easiest thing for them is to have an abortion. We were sitting in line, I was sitting with her in line for seeing a committee that tried to talk her into having an abortion. And there were 5 other women there going in, getting late-term abortions. And she was the only one. Everybody was coming out in tears. She was the only one coming out with a smile on her face. And she kept telling the doctor, she said, I believe God's going to perform a miracle. And I want to come back with my baby and show you that God has performed a miracle. And so it's interesting. Her name's Larissa. If you can please pray for her. I know she could use all the help, all the support she can, because she has a battle ahead of her. And if God performs a miracle, and I believe He can, but if He sees it His will to perform that miracle, it would be wonderful to show the doctors there that they've made a mistake. But if not, they will need all the support and strength they can get.
Каждый раз мы соприкасаемся с жизнями людей.
Every day, next slide, please. Every day we meet new people involved in their lives.
Как я уже сказал, в этом году у нас намного больше тех людей, с которыми мы соприкасаемся.
And as we've said, this past year has been our busiest year, and we have met and dealt with more people this year than we have in the past.
Например, через спортивное служение прошло около 1000 детей.
And through our sports ministry, we've had almost 1,000 kids go through camps or leagues.
Это люди, которые услышали благую весть.
These are children and their families that have heard the good news.
Я не знаю, какой процент на сегодняшний день остается в тех церквях, в которых мы работаем.
I don't know what percentage stays in the church or comes to church after we finish our camps.
Но этим летом одна церковь начала со спортивного служения, потому что церковь там осталось всего несколько.
But the churches are beginning to understand how much they need sports ministry. And we worked with a church this year that started its church with sports ministry.
И за это лето уже осенью в воскресной школе 40 детей.
And in that church that only had a couple of grandmothers attend, they were able to have 40 kids in their Sunday school program after a summer camp.
И в этом году, этой осенью, уже 4 семьи, 4 человека из 4 разных семей приняли крещение.
And 4 different families were baptized into the family of God.
Поэтому мы верим в детское служение.
We believe in children's ministry
Потому что оно может влиять и на семьи, в которых
because it not only affects the kids, but it affects the families also.
через образование прошло больше 1000 людей.
Through our Christian education projects and ministry, over 1,000 people have been affected or gone through it.
Заниматься молодежным служением, кто-то будет заниматься спортивным, кто-то детским служением.
Some of these people will continue to work in youth ministry or children's ministry or sports ministry.
И мы верим в то, что это служение важно, имеет потенциал.
And we believe that all of these ministries are very important and have potential.
Через медицинское служение прошло 300 детей.
There have been almost 300 people go through our medical projects.
И мы будем рады, если это служение, оно изменяет жизни не просто этих мам, но и повлияет на жизнь тех будущих детей, которые.
And we believe that it not only affects the mothers, but it also affects their unborn children and their families.
Это те служения, которыми мы живем, которые у нас в сердце.
These ministries are what we live for, or what are in our hearts.
Мы в это верим.
We believe in this,
И мы просим Бога, чтобы Бог открывал сердца еще многих людей для этого служения.
and we ask God that He will open the hearts of many, many more people, so that we can work with them also.
И таких людей мы обычно просим молиться. У нас есть список молитвенных нужд.
And we ask you to pray for us and to pray for the ministry in Ukraine. Next slide, please.
Нужд очень много.
We have a lot of ministry needs
Разнообразные есть служения.
because there are different ministries.
Молитесь за наши планы уже в следующем году.
Please start praying for our plans next year,
Потому что следующий год станет не менее насыщенным.
because I believe that next year it will not get any easier.
Молитесь за медицинское служение, за этот женский центр, потому что оно набирает обороты.
The clients at our women's center, have just been open a year, and there's already 50 people there. So we're having trouble with our volunteers. We can't get enough. So please pray for our clients and our volunteers.
Молитесь за семинарию, где я преподаю, и Рэй.
Please pray for the seminary where Sasha teaches, and for my dad, Ray.
В этом году был рекорд по количеству студентов в семинарии.
This year, the seminary beat their own record of the amount of students they have.
Поэтому
And so there's a lot more work to be done there.
безусловно, молитесь за людей Украины и об украинской ситуации вообще.
And also continue to pray for the political situation in Ukraine, for the people of Ukraine,
Молитесь за экономическую стабильность.
for economical stability.
Моя мама ушла на пенсию в прошлом году.
Sasha's mom last year retired,
У нее была зарплата, пенсия $160.
and she has a pension of did have a pension of $160 a month.
Но они получали в гривнах нашу пенсию.
But of course, they received it in the Ukrainian currency, гривна.
Экономическая ситуация сильно ухудшилась в Украине, и она сегодня получает $60.
But because the economical instability in Ukraine, her pension is now $60.
И это по всей Украине.
And it's like that all over Ukraine. And you cannot live on that money. It's not enough.
Ну, молитесь за нашу семью, безусловно,
And of course, pray for our family,
за наших детей.
for our children. Emily it's hard to believe, but she will be going to school next September, next school year. And so please pray for her and pray for Evelina. She'll be a year old next week.
Ну, вот такие наши молитвенные нужды.
So those are our prayer requests, prayer needs. If you could pray for us, please. And if you have any questions, we would like to answer your questions if we can.
Who sponsors the plane?
Right now, it comes from American sponsors. Like I said, there is a group of missionaries working with or for the Women's Center and for this ministry called Choose Life. And so it comes from different areas, different missionaries and American sponsors. No, we do not. We do not shut down in the wintertime. We are located right now beside 2 schools and 2 daycare centers. And so wintertime is actually our more productive time. We have a lot more people. Moms take their kids to school and can come by. Children or young teenagers can come by. So we see a lot more activity actually in the wintertime. Summertime, everybody goes on vacation, not around. Yes, it is a free clinic. They come by. They do not have to provide any information. They do not have to provide any kind of money or anything. And if they meet the requirements for humanitarian aid, then we provide them with humanitarian aid and food and prenatal care, a free ultrasound, and vitamins also. No, it is not government funded, not by the Ukrainian government, not by the American government. Medical care in Ukraine is free, but you still have to pay for your medicine and any kind of anything that you have to go and buy. But to go and see a doctor, it's free. So in your area, you have a certain clinic that is for your region, and so if you go to that clinic, then it is free. You sit in line for a very long time, and you get to see a doctor. Now, the doctor will write out, he will see you, any kind of tests that have to be run, you have to pay for, and any kind of medications that you have to buy, you have to buy. But there is no kind of government Medicaid or Medicare like that. But supposedly medical care is free.